So some Wednesday night shit. Yes, sir. So what we doing?
Putting together Joey's 6g75 Non MIVEC.
Mm-hmm. Heads look a little different than normal. Oh, what's up? Jack and Drew 3G joined already. Yup.
Yeah, we got a couple
What's
people
up, guys?
On. Hell yeah.
Welcome to Silvertune Performance.
Yes, sir. Oh, Jack says it's fire. There you go.
Oh boy. My first positive feedback.
Hell yeah. What's this going in?
This is going in a Dodge Stratus.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So while you had it apart, what all you do to it?
So brought the heads up to a modern port and polish program, refreshed everything, changed out the valve springs, and just giving the motor a refresh.
Nice. What's up, Snowmass? Snowmass124 also join. Hey, you got a couple different folks.
Thanks.
4G75 is the question. And Jack asked about 4G64 work.
All depends.
All depends. Sounds like it's not a no. It's not a no.
Let's see that.
Yep. That is a 6G75 Evo Art. 6G75.
All right, what we got next?
We're gonna dig out that water pump.
For sure.
And then timing belt kit should have a new one in it. That's them or not. All right.
What's up, Roman?
Oh, I just don't know if it's or not. Starter too.
Snowmass asked if we torque or no.
Of course.
Of course, for the important things. You know how it is. Just eyeball everything.
Actually, that is what you do on the lower.
Yeah.
Gotta make it line up, man.
Got some more things lined up here. Yeah, this is way cleaner than the last time I saw it, for sure.
Screwdrivers to put those out. So good stuff.
I'll be a little surprised if it gives us a hard time, but Unless it's got one of those felt gaskets, which it does.
Yeah, don't do that again.
Alright, so I'm gonna razor this quick.
Let me see you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just cleaning up the old gasket.
Yep.
Nice. I'm assuming you have another one. You got another one, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, you don't reuse these.
Oh, Matt says he misses turning wrenches with you. Let's see.
Matt who?
Verking, looks like.
Ah, Nudie! What's up? Come to Minnesota and shoot whitetails with me.
There you go.
Alright. Give that a brush.
He said it must be done.
It must.
Yeah, sounds like a standing invite, brother.
The local whitetail population depends on it. So does my freezer.
Right. David Stevens joined too.
Oh.
Hey, our #1 fan.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Jared asked about how the 2ZZ is going.
That one is almost ready to put together. That's going to be next week's project once the Camaro disappears. This is starting to piss me off.
Oh, nice. Matt said he made some snack sticks the other day. He's going to send you some pictures.
Yeah? You're not just going to send me the real thing?
I was going to say, yeah, the pictures, man. That's terrible. You got to send the snack sticks, man. Patrick Starr joined too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's scrape her one more time.
Matt said he might be able to do that for sure.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Ah, we have a skeptic. Yeah, hold on. Now I want one of these too. Sounds pretty good. He says so much doubt. Sad face. Hey, I mean, sounds like you know Justin pretty well, man. You already know.
I'm a database.
Yeah, he's a pragmatist at heart. You know what I mean. If it shows up, it shows up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I believe in you, Matt. Don't worry. I got you. What are we working on this evening? 6g75 rebuild, right?
Yep. Putting together Joey's Non MIVEC.
There you go. Oh yeah, you joined late. Yeah, let me for the people that weren't here earlier, it's gonna be right over this way. Yeah, so putting all this together basically. Mm-hmm. Oh, that looks fish too. Okay. Jesus Christ, how's the water pump on?
That's why I hate felt gaskets, man.
Yeah. Jesus.
All right, now we're good.
Close enough?
We are good to go.
Mission accomplished.
As long as we have a lock side gasket.
Right, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that crank pulley off. Can't even get the time tension in.
Oh,
Lock
yeah.
that bolt.
Go for it.
Alex Fish said he's need to come by and get his 6G72 turboed and tuned.
Hey,
Shop's always open, baby. Come on by.
pretty much.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Hand tie should be good, right?
No. Not even close.
Nah, it'll be fine, bro. It's all part of the adventure.
That's another reason I hate felt gaskets.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't cooperate.
Oh, Alex Fish said he finally back in Cali, was gone for a while because he was stationed in Florida.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, man. Appreciate the service.
Time to build the 3G.
Time to build it. There you go. Mad ass, is that the one and only Emerald? Yes, sir.
I'm on GTZ.
Oh, yeah.
It's the one and the only right here.
He loves being on camera. As
I'll
much as
say.
I do.
You know it.
Yeah, we got a bunch of extroverted people over here.
That's what I live for.
Yeah. I would say the one extroverted guy, the guy holding the damn camera. Sort of guy. Oh, man. Oh, Alex said he also got the Stratus with the 6G.
Gotta build that V6, man.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Actually, we need to do that valley plate. Do.
Yeah, I'll cut around over here.
Should be flat black. That one was painted right there.
Actually, this is where I get the red Loctite out. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, man. JD Miller, 6G72.
Oh, Joey.
Yo.
Oh, shit. What's
What up,
up, bro? Hey, so this is yours. Okay. Yup. She's looking good, man. Nice and pretty. Yes.
Joey.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't correlate any of these people to like their actual names. So that's crazy. So yeah, so this is his motor then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Nice.
is going.
Yeah, he said it's looking damn good. Yeah, yeah. Trust me, man. In person, it's even more crazy for sure. It's clean, man, for sure. It's...
Put the L bracket in. No. There's no reason to. Cool.
You want one, dog? Let's see. Okay, so we got a couple things. Matt that you were talking about hunting with, he said, "Oh damn, I can't tell you that. It's a secret."
Oh no!
He said, "Don't tell Justin."
Oh no!
Yeah, he gonna definitely owe you some.
The treachery.
Yeah, he gonna definitely owe you some snack sticks after you read that comment.
Oh,
He said his 6g75 may or may not be in the yard.
I know it's in the yard.
Yeah, but he was saying you gonna get mad about being reminded.
A long time ago, man.
I know, but you know, yeah. Hey, some people hold a grudge. And then Alex was saying, let's see, he just installed the Megan racing coilovers. And what the fuck?
I'm just trying to remember.
Oh,
exactly
Jesus.
Where this thing lines up to.
Actually, I'm gonna have Emra weigh in on this one too in a sec.
Oh, because that should be
Actually, Jesse,
right
keep this.
here.
Yeah, it extends this edge of the block.
That's right. That's right. Just trying to line it up and find the hole.
What did you say about that?
So what are we chiming in on?
Oh, I was gonna say I'll have Justin directly answer that one. Alex has a question about basically replacing shit versus not worrying about it here.
Like what? Oh, I'm knocking for my lifter. I mean, yeah, you gotta replace your broken lifters.
Yeah, kind of figured, but yeah. Long story short, gotta fix it.
Some new lifters are well worth it.
Mm-hmm. I'm spacing on his name, but I actually met him. The dude that had the. Did he also have a Gallant? He did like photography. It's like a maroon joint.
Oh, result.
Yeah, that dude. I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because his shit was Yep. Yeah. What's up, Rizal? I actually remember you too.
Oh, Rizal, he's live. Cool.
Hell yeah. No, he moved. I think right to somewhere.
He was gone.
Yeah, I thought he was moving back home for a while.
No, I swear he was like overseas or some shit.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah. I don't know. What's up, bro? Yep, the one, the only. And then no, he was just saying, yeah, that's me.
No question that.
Yup. Yes, sir. Oh, he's in Cali now. Shit, nice. Welcome back to the States, brother. And then yeah, let's see, 3GMJ join 6g75 _ 3G as well. And then
Joe.
okay. There you go.
Everybody tuning in.
Yes, sir. And then Daniel Eclipse as well.
All right.
How we looking over here?
Loading up a water pump.
Nice.
So here's that 12 on our ratchet. I'll go grab the 14 for that oddball.
Oh, I got it. It's right there.
Steez Lux also joined.
Who?
Steez Lux. I was reading it upside down. Took me a sec. Nice. Daniel Eclipse said, "Damn, I gotta do the oil pump on my shit. This is crazy though." Yeah.
Oil pumps are fun.
Fun. You know it's gonna be a long job when Justin says it's fun. What's up, Steels Lux? I'm gonna grab both of these. Yeah. Do those 10 minutes again.
Perfect. We'll definitely want to have that spider bracket for that idler. Probably all lined up and bolted down before throwing the belt on. But
You were talking about just the one bolt, right?
well, I have just the one in there for the idler.
That's the only one that holds it in.
Oh, that's right, because there's a dowel pin that aligns that bracket so it can't be clocked
Correct.
in a position that doesn't let the bolts line up.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, what's up, man? Okay. Damn, C's Lux is all the way from Canada. That's what's up, bro.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah. All right, Alex Fish, do you recommend the special motor mount inserts they sell online? For some reason, mine go bad pretty quick. He's talking about polyurethane shit or what?
Yeah, I've posted a few times about the poly mount combo that I like.
Okay. Off the top, what's the name?
Energy's roll stop kit.
Okay.
And profane sides.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
Falcons.
What's
So you
that?
line up the timing marks on the cams.
Yeah.
Right. And those we don't even have to bolt down, they can set them.
Yeah.
Right.
So Skull's valve cover.
Yeah,
guys.
bring back the classic, the Emerald Classic, man.
Skull's valve cover.
Jesus Christ.
Most badass 6G7 valve cover that's ever existed. Everybody wants to put their red MIVEC valve cover on, but you can't beat the Skulls.
She's a dirty one.
Cool. Alright, where that belt at?
6075_3G said, damn, there go the throwbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say this takes me back too. Shit.
Hey, you should come around this side.
Oh, yep. Matter of fact, my fault. Here, actually, I'm gonna cut around all the way.
Yeah. I was like, this would be for the folks who
Yep.
who haven't.
I want to stick the distributor on this thing quick.
Here, look out.
Keep
So
that.
that cam doesn't block.
Look out, my fault.
Yep. Yeah, this will be for the people who haven't done a timing belt or are
Mhm.
unfamiliar what they're looking at when they hear the term timing belt.
Mm-hmm.
Even though,
That's the tension, right?
Yeah.
even though anybody that follows Justin probably has a good idea.
I'll say if even I know what it is, man, I'm not even deep into it.
Either have a good idea or they've been here before.
That's funny.
What?
JD Miller said he's glad that it's going in another white car, that valve cover.
Yep.
Damn, Alex said that's how his engine blew up and the water pump bearing exploded, apparently.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know, I'm gonna pull the cap off so I can.
Oh, you can line it up.
Oh, it is set directly to the notch.
The notch.
Yeah.
That's what that's for. Yeah.
So that is at.
And that's what top does.
Okay.
You can deal with.
That's right. I was like, so I knew that notch lines up the top dead. Oh, you can rotate the cam just a hair if I need, right?
Well, you're already in the cam. It's just the O-ring. Did you leave the O-ring?
Make it easier.
Damn, Alex is saying that he had a shop put it in, they didn't know what they were doing. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yep. That's why this man right here is the only guy that touches my shit, man. I'm not playing these games.
One bolt. That's gonna be a cam.
I'm sorry to hear that though, man. That's crazy.
Get this to be
Oh
fun.
shit.
Does not want to start for me. What is going on here? Oh, it's the gas. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just go through gas.
Oh, we're not in Cali, bro. We're actually in Minnesota.
So now they got oil on it. It doesn't even want to.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit of a hike to come out this way. I got family in California, but nah, yeah. Based out of Minnesota.
Who are they fighting you?
Yeah, it's just not wanting to go that last bit.
Mini soda. Yeah, you already know. Here, I'll cut around to the side, see what we got going on. What you getting into, Mac?
Trying to get this distributor in place. Just can't quite get past the O-ring right now.
You want me to get active? Or? Oh, yeah, you
It's walking slow, but
I'll say.
Yeah, I probably should
Eventually.
have greased the head.
I mean, I can get it probably.
I put oil on the O-ring and that little house, not the housing, but that.
You just want me to push it, right?
Yeah, just take a bit. That's a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little nudge. Just that last like millimeter or two.
I was say I get it on there.
All right, cool.
Perfect. Boom. Easy.
I do need new nuts for that, which I've got.
For that distributor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's cross thread.
This is the classic right here, man.
It's everybody's favorite.
Push it real good. Yes, sir. This is 72?
75.
75. 60, 75. What's being done? Oh, man. Hit him with the list.
Reassembling after some port work. Ported heads. And a full refresh.
Yeah, full refresh, ported heads. Basically just gone through the whole thing and then finally reassembling it. So there you go. But had to put the classic back on. Man, this thing fucking takes me back. I remember first seeing this under your hood. I remember you popped it. I was like, oh hell no, it's just crazy. Yes, sir.
As quickly as hydro dip came, it went.
Pretty much. Alex said, "What's that run? What run? You talking about? Oh, how much you charge to do what was just done on this motor? Silvertune ported heads. Yes, sir. You already know.
You'd have a good chunk of money into it for sure.
Good chunk of money. Give him a ballpark.
I mean, just the heads alone be 1,500.
There you go. Yep. That's the SPE crazy action right here. Man, I remember back when you started porting. That was way back. Yeah, that was like, god damn, that's like what, 15 years ago? Some stupid shit. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yep, you already know.
We're gonna have some fun with this tensioner.
There you go. There you go.
Class is in session.
Oh boy.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. The daisy cap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who said that?
That's your snack stick, homie. Matt. Yes, sir.
The daisy cap.
Yeah, Justin been in the game twice as long as everybody, swear to God. This dude has been out here. Who is 6075 3G? Is that dude
That's
local?
Joe Womack.
Okay, got it.
He's the other one with the all-wheel drive.
Oh, matter of fact, okay.
Yeah, yep.
Got it.
One of the very few.
Yeah, rarefied air for sure.
Done the right way for the 5-speed.
Yeah, there you go.
No auto.
Coming together. He said yes, no auto. No auto. Yes, sir.
What did he say?
He said, yeah, no auto.
Yeah.
Swear to God. That's crazy. Mm-hmm.
W5M for life.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta have a W.
There you go.
All right.
Heard it from the source.
Here we go.
Yes, sir. Cut around. Boom.
Doing the timing on a 6G7. This is what most people screw up because most people don't quite understand how this system works. So your crank drive cog rotates counterclockwise. So it pulls tension around the front cam, around the rear cam, and all of your slack ends up here. The purpose of your adjuster here is to soak up that slack. Now, if the crank accelerates really fast, you're going to have peak slack up here. But if the crank decelerates really fast, it's actually going to bring all of your slack over to here. So what this tensioner's job is to soak up any amount of possible slack that ends up on this side of the belt by extending, but it also needs to not compress, for lack of a better way to say it, so that when the crank decelerates and all of your slack goes to this side, it can't give enough slack to this side because it's mechanically limited by its travel to allow it to jump. So setting this tensioner and the actual pre-tension on the belt prior to pulling this pin out is pivotal. A lot of people will just get to this point, they'll turn this pulley into the belt and then pull the pin and they're done. They leave themselves open to a lot of problems with timing jumping, and then a lot of people, if they don't turn this into the belt very far, will actually get a cold startup chatter. And it's the craziest thing. It's this really loud, fast, rapid, high-pitched jackhammering that comes from the timing area of the engine, and people will post about all the time wondering what that is. And it's this jumping up and down because there's no travel left in the adjuster. So we're going to set the timing on this thing now, and the first thing that makes this really easy is you take a deep well 10mm socket and you stick it in down below. What this does is it keeps the crank from, or the belt from jumping on the crank, and we also got to make sure we're set up at top dead center. You have your timing mark lined up before you pin the belt here. So now that we got the belt pinned, we're going to work and chase all of our slack over to the adjuster. So take your 17 mil, stick it on this cam gear, come over here. I'm going to get in the way of the camera a little bit here.
I got you, dog.
But in a perfect world, you will rotate this cam gear forward slightly and then hook the belt on, and then when you turn the gear back, your mark is lined up. So we'll say if this was this way and I pulled it tight, I'm behind a tooth. So I'm going to take the cam gear and turn it with my wrench, pull my slack over. Now it looks like it's advanced, but in reality, I'm just going to turn the gear back, and we have all the slack now to the left. Now I don't have rocker arms in this yet, so the cams aren't trying to dance around, so it will look a little bit easier for me than it will be for you. But the important thing is now all of our slack is to the left of the two pulleys that we're keeping stationary. So then we just do the same thing over here. We pull the slack out. I see I got to move this gear forward. This is the gear that's going to want to jump forward and backward on people because number 3 exhaust is at peak lift, and it pushes the cam whichever direction it happens to be on. You're not going to hurt anything when it does that because the valve springs are closing, so don't worry about it. But you're absolutely going to need a wrench for this one, and you're going to have to do the same exact thing. Advance it and then turn it back. And we've got 3 timing marks all lined up, and now we get to actually set the tension. And I didn't grab my big screwdriver.
This one gonna be fine?
Yeah, that should work. So we've got all of our slack here. We've got our pulley that we're going to pry into the belt to pre-tension it. And then we have our actual adjuster. Let's see here. I'm going to snug this just a little bit. It's already turning into the belt. Okay. So that's where we've got it started. Now, when this is tensioned correctly, this pin will have no tension on it. And that's because this position that the piston is in is the starting point for controlling the slack in this whole system. It can extend about 3/8 of an inch, and it can take up that much slack. At the same time, if the crank decelerates really fast and we pull tension over here, it can only compress about 1/8 of an inch. That way it doesn't give up enough slack for the timing to jump elsewhere. So what we want to do is we want to pry this far enough into the belt that it takes tension off of this pin, because that means when the pre-tension is set on the belt, that tensioner is exactly where it's supposed to be. Hopefully that made sense.
Made sense to me.
That's what we're looking for, but we're going to turn this thing over a couple times and make sure that's still the case.
To reach that, or you got it?
I got her. Cool. So, rolling the motor over, make sure that any slack that there is to take up past your adjustment ends up down here. But once again, if you've done this right, that pin has no tension on it. You can take it out, you can put it back in. That's when your timing belt is tensioned properly, that's what you're looking for. So that's that. One other thing to note is that if you have a 6G7 and you use a Gates timing belt, your rear cam is going to be off 1/2 of a tooth. It's going to be either retarded a half or advanced a half. On most cars, not all but most, this will set cam and crank codes. It's been happening for a long time. I know everybody thinks that the Gates belt is the ones you want. Daycos do it too. But there's a tolerance issue with them and you will have problems. So always use a Continental timing belt kit. They come with original manufacturers of like MPW water pump, NTN adjuster. The peripherals are all the same high quality OEM stuff that the belt is because Continental made the OEM belts. So get that kit on Rock Auto. Can't go wrong. You'll get all the good stuff and it'll perform like you need it to.
Do it once, do it right. There you go.
All right, so what even is next? Where's that crank sensor?
You want rocker arms or?
Oh yeah, we can do rockers. Yeah, we might as well just do those.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a tool. There's an extension cord if you need to plug that in.
Yeah, you should grab that for sure. 8%, good call. Alex Fish with a question a little while ago while you were doing the timing. What do y'all think about the auto gear ratio is trash compared to the manual? Question mark.
It just depends. The autos all have the tall 373, same type of final drive as the manual GT transmissions do.
Okay.
They're only 3 underdriven gears though, or basically in the manual 4th gear is 1-to-1, in the auto 3rd gear is 1-to-1.
Got it.
So you're looking at much greater RPM drop
Sure.
when you shift gears with the auto, and so having a wider power band is going to be more important there.
Okay.
Granted, that's what these engines are good at, so it's
Not too.
not that big a deal.
Got it. Okay.
The biggest thing with the auto would be if you could run a high stall torque converter without sacrificing a bunch of other things.
Makes sense.
So, oh, there was a cord over here, Matt.
Oh, I see it now. The other orange
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I grabbed the yellow thing.
All right, so
Perfect.
we are
You
going
got
to
that
do
charger?
rocker arms
Appreciate it.
and
Where's that at?
Black wall over there.
Okay.
Black shelf, rather. Yeah.
oh yeah, one fun thing you should look at here. So if you look in the lower intake manifold, you got dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, and this happens especially with ported setups.
Really?
When you port these intake manifolds, it cleans up the fluid dynamics so that they can do what they want. And the whole deal is that since your intake manifold comes off the back, every other cylinder, the air is rolling a different direction.
Oh, interesting.
So as it rolls, it's actually depositing material in each of the cylinders in whichever direction it happens to be.
Interesting.
Wants to deposit that stuff, makes it available to bond to these surfaces, whereas on the other one, it's rolling the other direction.
Sure.
So it stays cleaner.
Interesting.
I've seen that on, only ever really seen it on setups that are ported. And I think it's just because it cleans up the fluid dynamics and it lets the air do what it wants to do.
Right.
But yeah, even 3 liters will do it.
That's crazy. Things you see.
All right, where's that torque wrench? You want to stop that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's what, 24 for the rockers, 23?
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do rockers next. These, the lifters in these have already been bled.
Cool.
So we're just going to go straight to install. But there's a couple of things to talk about. We'll start with bank to exhaust, because it's the easiest one. And that one still fell out. Woo! It's always tricky. Why is this one being... There we go. All right. So one thing to mention here is that these bolts are very, very, very soft. So when you torque these things, you absolutely have to use a torque wrench. If you go even 1-2 pounds more than the allotted torque spec, these things begin to stretch, and they'll just never actually tighten up until it breaks the bolt off. Not really the end of the world. They're super easy to extract, but that's what happens. The other thing is, after seeing it a couple times, people who had removed these and put them back on actually had rocker bolts come loose later, even using the factory torque spec.
They torque yield.
They yield. Oh yeah, they yield. Yeah. That's the whole point. They're very, very soft. But they also
23
can come loose. So what I have always done is put a little drop of red Loctite on each one of these bolts before torquing it, and I have never had a problem.
23 foot-pounds, right?
23, yeah.
Yep. And then Alex was asking about, for his lifters, is it necessary to replace all of them, or just is it safe to just do the damaged ones?
So
if you're in there, might as well do all, no?
If it were me, I would do all of them. I would just go to your local yards and pull 2 sets of lifters out of a couple different motors and then go through the bleeding process. And when a lifter is good, it will pump all the way up and you will not be able to compress it with your fingers.
Okay.
When they're bad, they will, if they haven't broken completely, they start to be compressible if you pump them up.
Oh, you can.
The bleeding process, they don't actually extend. The cap will have a little bit of play in it and you'll be able to squish it with your fingers.
Got it.
That's when they've actually gotten contaminated and worn out internally. And then if you drive around long enough, eventually it'll break the little black retaining cap on the top of the lifter body and all the parts come out. And they can't go anywhere because they're up in your rocker arms, but it'll pound the little top hat of the lifter into the rocker casting. And then it will just tick and tick and tick and tick until you can't stand it anymore and you pull it apart and
slowly drives you nuts.
Put some new lifters in it.
Got it. So long story short, pull a couple sets, find the good ones, and just replace all of them.
Get yourself a full set of good 24 lifters. That way, you don't have to take your car apart and count how many you need, and then you got to go get them and all that stuff. Just there is no aftermarket lifter that's better than factory. I've run legit Sealed Power brand, and those work pretty good. Those are still in your 3.6.
Yeah.
So those worked good, but there's a lot of really cheap crap knockoffs, and if it's if it's under $15 for a new lifter, it probably isn't legit. So that's why I would tend to go to a junkyard where you're getting quality OEM used stuff. You just got to bleed them and find a set that are good. And then once they're bled and they're clean, long as you stay up in your oil changes, they should really never tick again. So we are compressing springs here. So we're going to run these down sort of together before torquing them so it doesn't just load up this rocker shaft. The rocker shaft is made of some kind of spring steel. and it can crack pretty easily.
It is hollow.
It is hollow, yep. The rocker shafts actually hold oil pressure, so because that's how it feeds the.
Alex was saying, how bad is the bleeding out and testing process for the lifters? He's never actually tried it.
It's not bad at all. It's you need a couple of plastic bowls and maybe a half gallon of diesel fuel.
Oh, I've seen you do this back in the day.
Yeah, I cleaned these lifters like
2 days ago.
2 days ago. But yeah, I take a windshield wiper fluid bottle and cut it in half and fill it with diesel fuel, and then the pins for the timing belt, actually that little eye pin there is what I always use. So you use that and you poke it into the center of the lifter, and you actually depress the bearing in it that allows you to compress the lifter. And
you'd basically do it like so. I won't do it because he's already pumped up, but that inside of there and a good squeeze like so.
Yep, and you might have to fish it around a little bit to actually find the bearing, but you'll notice that the whole thing compresses. And basically you just compress it underwater. You make it breathe under the diesel fuel, and so it'll purge. You'll see a bunch of dark crap come out. It'll purge all that out, and then it'll have clean diesel fuel in it, which is high detergent, and that's how when you then first start your motor up, you'll want to change the oil in it. I had a feeling that's how this was going to go. We'll grab a magnet on a stick.
Yeah, these didn't want to stay in there whatsoever, but
no.
That's what happens when they're freshly cleaned and not sticking with oil, with that oil tension.
It's less like a syringe and more like a pump. So you'll basically do a bunch of repetitions with it submerged, and cycling it, if you will, for lack of a better term, will force it to pull in that diesel fuel, and it'll clean it out essentially. So yeah, it's not the syringe as much as just sort of pumping it underneath that liquid.
You want me to hold anything?
Oh, it's fishing them out.
That kid is slow says hello. What's up, man?
Oh, what's up? I'm not used to hearing people's usernames.
Yeah, I don't know.
That kid
Sorry.
is slow. I'm like, what?
Yeah. He say you slow, don't you?
I'm slow.
Who's that?
Why am I slow?
Do I know?
I don't know. I don't.
Oh, got it.
I know a few people.
Yeah, no, it's hard to keep everybody straight.
Geez.
No doubt.
I've been following for a couple of years now.
Right, there you go.
Yep.
What motor is this? 6g75 going in a Stratus. Bunch of
Non MIVEC.
non MIVEC. Bunch of port working stuff done and full refresh and putting it back together.
This is actually the first ever 6g75 non MIVEC that was ever swapped on any of the platforms.
Boom. The one that started all.
The one and only Emerald GTZ.
Boom.
Yeah.
Right here.
2010, early 2010, I think it was.
Jesus Christ.
Long time
Oh, I was say I was still in school, sort of guy.
Yeah. So it's been in 3 cars. It has over 3,000, close to 3,500 miles of all-out road course racing on it.
Yeah.
I don't even want to try to speculate how many
trips to Mexico it's made.
side by side comparisons, open world adventures.
Hell yeah.
That it's been on. It's been dynoed 6 times.
But yeah, probably a good half dozen times
6
at least.
different setups.
What year's the Stratus?
It's an 02 Stratus.
Okay.
That everybody's favorite Stratus owner bought out of Texas, needing a motor, and it will be here for this 3.8 liter swap and the built long ratio trans behind it. So it'll be manual swapped, 6G75 swapped. We got the whole suspension, Brembos, all the good stuff going in it. So it's going to sort of be a 0 to hero build. And
yes, sir.
this thing should be quite the ride behind the wheel.
I'll say. I'm gonna have to see it all come together. You got me curious.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun spring.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Alex, that's what he's ultimately trying to do. So.
Yep. I think it's the best thing you can do for these cars if you're not gonna make 800 all-wheel horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean like that over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the non MIVEC. It's just fun from the torque standpoint. Daily driving, commuting.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's more usable power on some day-to-day shit.
Yeah, for all the power the MIVEC makes, it just doesn't really make the torque. It's just not quite as entertaining to drive.
What did it dyno at last it was in something?
So this dynoed at, the last dyno was 252, 262.
Yeah.
And that was more or less untuned.
Okay.
After it went into that car. And then in the setup before that, it made 262, 285.
Yeah, yep, when it was in my car.
That was when it was in Matt's car. And then before that, that was, mind you, that was this motor. 10 years ago was when the ported heads went on it. They originally went on with a set of RPW cams, and we learned real quick that RPW cams do not work in the 6G75. That thing made 216 horsepower.
Damn.
And when we went back with the
stock cams,
stock cams, is we changed nothing else other than, of course, retuning it, and it went and it made 262, 285. So
okay,
if that tells you something about those cams, so
that's crazy.
And then before that, when the car was first swapped the first time, it was running a Fed spec tune, a 482 MAF,
3.5 injectors,
6G74 injectors, and somehow this thing was able to drive around and street race every weekend.
Some Frankenstein
and not blow
shit.
up.
Yeah, that's
just absolutely wild. But that's when it made 215, 227.
228. Yeah.
215, 228 is what that thing made untuned. And then I tuned it, and all I did was change AFRs I really didn't do a whole lot to it. But we went back to the dyno, and that's when it made 232, 252.
233, or 232, 252, or 233, 252, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, and that was when the hanger for your Y-pipe had been torn out of the Y-pipe when you had your propane engine mounts that were all blown to crap.
Yeah, the perforated.
And the wideband was downstream of that. So even though the wideband looked good, it was actually drowning in fuel.
Yeah.
Because it had a giant exhaust leak just upstream of that sensor. So then we fixed that and went back to the dyno again. And that's when it made 230. It made the same numbers.
Did we done it before and after that?
I thought it made 230, 250 twice.
Yeah, it had two different occasions. Once at map at their old location in Plymouth, and
that was the first time I tuned it.
Yeah, yep, and then it made the same numbers at High Tech.
Okay.
So, question: what's the stock 6G72 good for horsepower wise?
I guess how deep do you want to go? If GTS stuff is better to start with, you start with better cams, more compression. So that motor just in general has higher potential than the GT motor does. If you're going to do, I guess, a quote-unquote max effort deal where you take a GTS motor...
He said as deep as possible. My kind of guy.
Oh, deep as possible. Well, if you're going deep as possible, you could probably get 300 out of it.
There you go. Full send.
And it wouldn't, I mean, yeah. I think that the 3-liter is the best engine to work with if you're boosting. If you're going to turbo your car, I think the 3-liter is the way to go. And that's rooted in the fact that it makes less torque. These things don't need help making torque, especially in the front-wheel drive cars.
Good.
But it will also live happily up to 7,000 RPM with a stock bottom end. So like if you're going to do a 3.5, you get the extra weight in front. You're going to have a lot of extra weight in front because you have a turbo system in there. And it just makes a sledgehammer of torque, as we know all too well. And that's fun in third and fourth gear, but it makes the car really hard to drive around town. So if you do yourself a favor and start with a 3-liter, you're going to at least knock the edge off that to a certain extent. And then on top of that, if you did ported heads and you did the right intake manifold, you could ride power out as far as possible. And I've always wanted to do a build where I find out what that looks like, and that is what I'm hoping to do before I put the built 3-liter in the second Eclipse. So
makes sense.
Someday we'll find out.
Right.
But if you did ported heads, cams, yeah, I mean, you could do that on a stock bottom end GTS motor.
And is the Stratus RT engine the same as the GTS? Same motor or no?
So the Stratus RT has the same engine as the Eclipse GT.
Got it. So
it's the lower compression with the crappier cams and everything.
So no, it's not the same.
GTS.
Got it.
The GTS is the special one. That's the unicorn.
Got you. Best 6G head?
The head?
Yeah, best head.
Best head? Dual overhead.
Dual overhead, there you
3000 GT SL. And not the torque heads, as those folks will call them.
Fair enough. And yeah, sounds like GTS motor for what you're talking about, bro.
I'm waiting for somebody to ask why I said that.
That'll be the next question.
Right.
They've heard you.
Wait.
Speak.
Yeah, wait a second.
But only one person has successfully done it.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of things that just overall make it, in my opinion, the best head. Ranging from availability and cost down to its actual limitations.
I'm gonna assume the answer is no, but can you just swap the internals from a GTS over to a GT?
I mean, there wouldn't be any reason to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because you'd have to do a bunch of machine work, and the blocks are the same. The only difference.
No upside, basically.
Yeah, no upsides really.
No, just start with the GTS motor.
Yeah.
Be good to go.
There you go.
Or if you're gonna swap motors, put a bigger motor in it.
There you go.
Like I said, if you're staying NA and you're just gonna enjoy the merits of a street car, you cannot beat this engine. I'm just gonna pull the lifters out ahead of time.
Yeah.
That way I don't have to fish for them. Sometimes they stay put, but sometimes they don't. Alright. Is Joey still watching?
I believe so. I will confirm. Yeah, you got, let's see, who we got still? We got, yep. Joey Miller, Clarence Jones, Pedro.
Oh, what's up, Clarence?
Yep. And then,
Get that Tibby done, man.
them. Saul E. Yuri Tech.
Oh, sweet talk.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
up,
Yeah,
dude?
Salito, yep. And then, and then Alex. Yeah. Oh, and Pedro as well. Pedro, Loreno.
Oh, Pedro, what's up?
Yeah, he was answering some questions as well.
Sweet.
What is your go-to compression for boost when running on E85?
10-1.
10-1. All right.
So my engine, my 3.6 in the drag car is 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
The old 3.6 was 9.5-1, and the 6G72 engine build will be 9.8-1. But 10 to 1. If
10.
you're gonna run ethanol 10 to 1, I think you could run even more, especially on the 6G75, because they get away with so much timing anyway. So.
He said he's trying to 2 more months getting the headers ceramic coated this weekend.
Good deal.
There you go. That's what we like to hear.
Yourself.
Yeah, we love ceramic coated headers.
Ceramic coating. There you go. Mm-hmm.
Ceramic coated headers and ceramic coated hot side parts.
Turbine housings.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beats that wrap any day of the week.
Bro, fuck doing the exhaust wrap shit with the fiber. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Works good.
Bro, that gets
Can't
into
deny it.
everything.
It works dang good.
That shit sucks.
You balling on a budget.
Tried to
You're gonna
help.
turbocharge your 3G.
I tried to help my homie do that on his Harley. That shit was not it.
You can wrap that stuff and live happy.
Nah, that's
Ain't gonna win any prizes.
Yeah.
You're gonna get to drive your car.
That's not, yeah. No, it sounds like he's doing it the right way.
You better believe the shit out of that. Yeah.
Relatable quotes.
Find the hole, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna compress the valve springs.
Just like that.
Just like that. Cabin joined as well. Let's see.
You don't have to bolt it.
No, I'm just pulling back on it to make sure there's resistance and that it didn't just kick that O-ring over. No, it's in there.
Yeah, I got that. I got 2 bags of 25. I got 25 of the thrust O-rings and 25 water pipe O-rings off McMaster for $15. Like you'd have spent that much getting just a pair of O-rings from Mitsubishi.
Mm-hmm.
You want to pull that water housing out? I'm not sure we have gaskets.
Water.
Stock bottom end, right, guys?
What's that?
Stock bottom end, though, right?
This one is.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's just the SPE ported head, stock bottom end, going in the Stratus. Alex had another question, which is there a specific issue for when shifting, your RPM starts jumping right as you shift? My car started doing that after getting the timing belt replaced.
Is it an auto?
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, because he was asking about auto versus manual earlier, so I'm assuming his is auto.
Yeah, so when they did your timing belt, they disconnected your battery, and it reset what's called the INVEX unit.
Reset.
It's basically a very, very, very primitive form of AI that tries to like learn your shift habits and optimize.
Oh, I
your
remember this
experience.
shit for when.
Yeah.
We did this on my. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, wigged me out
And,
too.
like, as soon as 3Gs had any wear and tear on them at all, I don't know if they were just on the edge of a clutch basket clearance or something, but when the default INVEX program is at play, it shift flares. That's just what it does. So it's just because they reset your battery, and hopefully it will just relearn how to shift.
Yeah, mine after a couple days it was fine.
Yeah, that's what you want. There are more than a few cases over the years of people's not relearning to shift, so it is something you sort of got to be careful of.
Yeah. Long story short, should clean up soon. If it doesn't, you got problems. It never did. Damn. Sounds like he's in the trouble boat.
Yeah, so
And that's
with that shift flare, which is semi-common in those as they age.
yeah, it's just the clutches are worn enough that the clearance is a little more open than it should be, so the pressure doesn't quite bite down as fast as it should. And it's probably just outside the window where the Invex can really learn, so it can't relearn to compensate for it like it knew how to do before. So it's just
is what it is.
auto problems.
Sounds like a manual swap to me.
That manual.
Mm-hmm.
Change that over.
Clarence said 600 plus horsepower or bust.
Do it, man.
There you go.
Love to see it.
Yes, sir.
Or just buy another reject V6 car, buy a 3G Eclipse, then.
Hey, join the gang, man. You know.
Join the gang.
That's the.
Based on our conversations, it sounds like we have a lot of the same problems, so it's not like it'll be that different.
So, yeah.
Come struggle.
Come struggle. Best invite ever. Come struggle. Rename this shit to the Misfit Garage.
Yeah. Before we actually put these on, I'm going to pour some oil on those cams and roll that thing over a couple times.
Alright.
Make sure she's all good. You got that old gasket?
Yeah.
I'll just take a trip to grab it.
So, non MIVEC swap, do you still need the same parts from the 6G74? He has the MIVEC.
Yes.
Alright, yeah, so, yes, you do.
Yeah, so this coolant housing right here
Mm-hmm.
from a Diamante
Okay.
with the 6G74. This lower intake manifold from the 6G74.
Fuel rails.
That's on the car here, on the engine here.
Oh, he said you got to do 600 wheel horsepower or bust.
Ooh. Who said that?
What's his name? Clarence, Clarence, I think. Yeah,
Stock bottom end?
yeah, Clarence.
Stock bottom end?
Stock, yeah.
600 wheel? Oh, we can do that.
Send it.
That ain't going to be a problem at all.
Sad thing is we were a couple of degrees of timing away from that
Yeah, wow.
174.
We're gonna
Jesus.
do it on a 3 liter just for fun.
I don't know.
Go run 10s in a lightweight all-wheel drive setup. You need this.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And then put the billet motor in.
So Joey has a question for you. So
Joey.
Yes,
Which
sir.
Joey?
the JD Miller Joey,
Joey.
this guy's motor Joey. Yeah. Let's see. So the 6G75 heads have huge combustion chambers compared to the 6G72 and 74. If one had custom pistons made to offset the drop in compression, would there be any benefit to using a 3.8 heads or the 3.8 heads on the 3.0?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
The real limiting, like, okay, if you port the heads on the 3 liter, and even if you're comparing them to ported 3.8 liter heads, those two mode, like a 3.0 with ported 3.8 heads versus a 3.0 with, turn it around. These are not actually the same lengths apart.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's
Like
fucking.
They are damn close.
They're damn close.
I
They're
bet I
not
did
perfect.
that because, oh
Did you
god.
just leak on your car a long time ago?
No, me never. Never would have been me. Could never have been me. I don't make those mistakes, man.
To get back to the question, the real limiting factor in any of these motors is the cam. And that is why everybody loves the MIVEC motor, because it has the most aggressive cam from the factory, it makes the most horsepower. But the small port heads are very, very cammable. They're very responsive to it, where we haven't quite had as much luck doing that with the 3.8s. I have a set of cams coming for the one that I'm building for the Galant. So we'll run that experiment again here, and if it doesn't work, I'll just throw MIVEC heads back on it. But that's an experiment I want to do, and it all just depends on what you want. That's what it boils down to. The best combo will depend on what it is you want from your car.
He said he was starting at 400 on a stock bottom end and maybe trying to get 500. He said 600 is the death sentence for the stock 2.7 though.
Just depends on how good a turbo kit you got.
Ooh, shots.
Oh. They got me monologuing. I forgot to pour oil in this and roll it over.
Them.
Got me thinking tech.
tell Joey. Well,
I like Joey's questions.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me something else.
I thought to myself, boy, this is turning into a fun Q&A session.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
was
shit.
I'm having a blast, man. Ask your questions.
I was hoping that it would.
I'm just riffing, man. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm even learning stuff, man. To be honest.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that this would turn into a bit of a Q&A where curious minds would inquire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds like Alex is just gonna go with that manual swap. I guess he was trying to do that anyway. So.
Oh yeah. Highly recommend.
10 out of 10.
I don't know where the cap for this.
What year is his car?
All right, Alex. What year is your car? That's the question on the table.
Driven XP7, baby.
03.
03. Okay.
That's fun. That'll be a fun job.
Yeah, a few extra things. So I had an 02 Eclipse that I had manual swapped. And there were differences in the late fuse box cars versus the early fuse box cars.
Mm.
The late fuse box cars, so 02 and newer, you're going to need to wire up a speed sensor, so make sure you get the speed sensor pigtail, because your automatic transmission does not use the speed sensor on the differential, whereas the early cars did. So you'll need that pigtail, and you'll need to wire that up. Just use power and ground from one of your input or output speed shaft input turbine speed sensors from one of those wires. And then you'll need to run a signal to the stack of your dash, basically down by your gas pedal at the speedo wire. Just tap in there. The ECU will log your speed, and your speedo will work as well. So that's how you get the speedo to work on that. The only thing you'll have to live with.
No gaslight.
Well, that's if he does a full ECU swap. So if he leaves the auto ECU,
I just assume we're doing it the full way. But yeah, if you're gonna leave the auto ECU, that's a different
M-Rod knows about the hoosh. Yes, sir.
Like, that is a possibility.
He's like, you just you know,
like, no, we're gonna
tap
refit
that.
the whole harness and put the right ECU in it and do all that stuff, because that way it's more stock as possible.
Well, it sounds like Alex is a let's see, aircraft electrician. So I guess he's on job.
You'll want an ECU swap then, because otherwise you're stuck with what, about 18 CEL codes for missing solenoids. But it'll run and drive. You'll just have a check engine light unless
Just take the bulb out.
you swap it. The bulb, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean?
No, just, you know, hey, there's no light if there's no light. You know what I mean?
I have never done that.
Yeah, me neither, for sure. Oh man, Cliff said Sigma 3.5 heads versus the 6G74 or the 6G72 dual overhead.
So there's 3 different dual overhead castings, and I cannot remember the numbers off the top of my head. I have a set on the shelf over there. Those are SL heads. So
right
VR4s, that is 3000 GT VR4s, got one version of the head, and they are sort of reminiscent of like 6-bolt DSM heads where the ports are just really big open squares. The most SLs came with a different set of heads that I want to say are the NT heads. Yeah, let me look.
Okay. Yeah, he said he works on helicopters in the military. That's what's up.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
I can't see the number. Either way, so then there's like the mid-level head, which is the 3000 GT. Most SLs came with it, but not all of them. That's the head. Those are the heads that I have in my car. Those are the ones that I sort of hoard a little bit. But they have all the same characteristics of the VR4 head, just smaller intake ports. And the intake ports are reminiscent of like our intake ports. If you saw the VR4 ports next to them, you'd see the big difference. Then there's a third version of the dual overhead cam heads that came in Monteros, Debonairs, all of their non-performance fleet, including some SLs. Those heads are like the torque heads. So when you look inside them, you'll see that the intake ports almost look like they've been filled in, and they have. Mitsubishi filled those ports in to encourage air velocity and just increased low-end grunt. Those heads are what the Sigmas have in them.
Got
So
it.
they have the low performance.
So those are the quote unquote torque heads.
Yes.
Okay.
So the so either the SL head or the VR4 head would be a massive upgrade over the Sigma stuff.
Okay, so basically, thumbs down on the Sigma stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Got it.
I had a Sigma here, and I didn't end up. I was bummed because I wanted to just build the entire minivan engine. You know.
Oh, sure.
Go make a bunch of horsepower and go fast and be able to say, yeah. So what's in this thing? Oh, it's the engine out of a Kia Sedona minivan.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's
those heads just aren't.
Not
They're not
it.
worth the work. I think that you could, if you had a good machinist, he could open them up and basically parallel the performance of a set of ported SL heads. But the amount of work and the amount of talent that your guy would need to have to make that realistic, just
Prohibitive, yeah.
go get yourself some SL heads.
Fair enough.
You know, and the deal is the Sigma heads also have a lower ratio rocker arm, and some other differences. The lower manifold is also different than regular 6G7 stuff, and you just, if you're going to put a combination together, you sort of need to know every single option you have so that you can make sure you get the right parts in there. My engine is totally a jigsaw project. It's got a lot of different bits and pieces in it to make
The
it all work.
Franken motor. Done right though. Nice.
So valve covers, while we're on the subject, everybody over torques these big time, and the torque spec is what, 12 inch-pounds or something? 18 inch-pounds. It's tiny.
I have the FSM right here.
I don't use that torque spec because if you're not using an OEM gasket, it's not going to equate. The OEM torque spec doesn't really crush the gaskets a whole lot, and it relies on the narrow bead on the bottom of the gasket to seal. I like a little more insurance than that, but I don't like crushing valve covers. So it's going to be hard to see, but this valve cover hasn't been torqued down yet. You can see it's sitting up on the gasket. Obviously it would leak. So the first thing that I do is I turn these bolts in as far as I can by hand. That way they're all evenly torqued, but they're not final torqued. That way the valve cover is sitting square on the head. And at this point, you can still look all the way around. You can see your gaskets in place, so you're not cutting it. A lot of times...
Bottoms aren't started yet.
Oh, a lot of times the gasket will slip in and people won't notice, and it will actually... you'll cut the gasket, and then obviously you'll have a massive oil leak. So what I do is I come in here... Let's see. Let's start...
It might be difficult now that the upper ones are tightened.
Yeah.
Clarence is asking if we're all 6G guys. Me, a long time ago, brother, I drive a Tacoma now. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm more of a bike guy these days. I folded. I bailed out.
I mean, I met you. Yeah, I met you.
Yeah.
These cars.
Yep.
With him,
Sort of
you know,
God. Yeah, I mean, that's how we know each other, though, for
Yeah.
sure. Some Club 3G shit, for sure.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
all through Club 3G, man.
Hell yeah.
The
Yep.
67 gang.
I was like, you're in Minnesota? No shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
15 years later, some shit.
Yeah, someone did tune up on his car.
Tune up. Yeah, I let my buddy that DJs at raves while we were in high school and shit. Yeah, he wanted to work on my car, and you tell it. It was a good.
So
good
the spark plugs weren't torqued; they were just turned in by hand, and then all the intake manifold
Yeah.
bolts were also just turned in by hand.
Yeah.
So if this guy hits me up on Club 3G, and he's like, "Hey man, so
Help.
I just had some shit done on my car, and I have 2 check engine codes, and it's lean bank 1 and 2," and I'm just like, there's only really one way that could possibly be the case. I was like,
I was still driving around on this shit, mind
yeah,
you.
and I'm like, I should probably just come over and help you, and I did, and boy, that was yeah.
And here we are. Yeah, don't say all. Yeah, you can't tell the full story, but yeah.
So anyway, with these valve covers, once I have them done by hand all the way around and this thing's sitting flat, you'll notice that you can see your gasket. What I will do is I will torque this so that this lip of the valve cover is sitting on the head. Not past it, because if you go past that, you start crushing it. The bolts aren't going to get tight. It's all, you're tightening into marshmallow here. They're never going to get tight. You just tighten them enough
that it sits.
so that it closes that gap.
Got it.
And that actually over compresses the gasket versus the factory torque spec, because we're way past 12-inch pounds here. 30-inch pounds, 5 foot-pounds. But you're not actually damaging the valve cover, because what damages the valve cover is when you go past this point and you're just tightening it against the cylinder and it just mashes the thing. So once you get to this point where you're
flush, yeah.
you're flush all the way around, and you just hit each bolt so that they're, you know, the same torque. Just feeling it out. And then we can do the other side too.
Sean Taylor said, "Wait, is that Emerald? I recognize those valve covers."
Yeah.
That's Emrod.
Yes, sir, the one, the only. Yeah, everybody knows that.
Everybody knows the valve cover.
Yes, sir.
That was my let them know piece.
Yeah, the let them know piece. Yes, sir. Set the tone.
I wish I could find a hydro dipping shop around here, because now on the for the valve covers for the Galant, I would get them hydro dipped in this pattern but blue.
Yeah,
I would totally do that if I could find a shop that would do it.
I knew a guy. I don't know if he still does it. I'll ask.
All right, so I think we can probably close up the front of this thing now, because we got all of our timing cover stuff ready to rock.
Mm-hmm. Where's the all-wheel drive 3G? Hey.
Who's asking?
Who's asking is Idozans.
I don't know him, but yeah, there it is. It's in pieces.
Boom.
Waiting on a dry sump pump.
Some updates coming.
All right, so we will now do.
He says it's amazing. Yes, sir.
It's there. It's real. I promise.
It's a real car. I've seen it. I've seen it run a bunch.
AI generated.
Right. Yeah, Photoshop. How much horsepower you got? Man, shit. Come find out. No,
yeah, I don't know. I don't really do the whole dyno thing anymore after many painful lessons learned.
If you had to guess.
I think on 25 at the end of the year it was around 1,000.
Around 1,000. But what's the car weigh with you in it?
With me in it, it's 29.
Yeah, that's just ignorant. Have you guys messed with the 4G engines as much as you have the 6G?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
The sad thing is, like, at least the single overhead cam 4G that is in the Eclipse, the 3G, the recipe for success on it is the same as it is on the V6s, actually. Even though it's a single overhead cam head and it's got a small cam and all that stuff, quality port work goes a really, really long way. And do that with a ported Outlander manifold, nice throttle body, and then a decent turbo setup, and
you in a good spot?
The world is your burrito.
There you go.
It's unlocked. Is it locked?
I think it's locked for sure. Clarence is asking who's Celica. I think he caught the edge of
that
trade secret. Or are we good to?
No, that's O2 Mitsu's wife.
There you go.
So I've had her car this winter. That's what the 2ZZ and the 6-speed's for, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Full urethane suspension. I'm going to build the exhaust for it, and then these cars don't have engine mount options. And since this thing's auto crossed, it beats the crap out of engine mounts, and there's a lot of movement. So I'm going to build some custom engine mounts for it, so we can tighten that up too.
Nice.
So the Camaro is almost done. That's supposed to leave Saturday. The Celica will then be the next big push.
Sure.
And then, long story short, I'm moving back home, so I got to bring my own cars back here, so the garage will fill back up. But then when the Celica goes, Joey Stratus will show up, which will get this drivetrain. And then when that car goes, I actually have another local 3G that's coming in for a turbo kit.
Plus, we're supercharging the Tacoma, right?
Sure. And then after that,
yeah,
sometime in the next couple weeks here, I'm getting my second car. And that car will get torn down, and the driveline from that is what's going into the Galant. So then the Galant gets done after the 3.8 turbo car that comes after the Stratus, which comes after this. And then somewhere in there, I got to do the dry sump and the fuel system
Jesus
on my
Christ.
car, the drive shaft on Matt's car, and then I'm doing some stuff for Levi. We're gonna do the Tacoma exhaust.
Sort of guy. Let's see a couple things. Alex says thank you for all the tips. He has to go, but looking forward to hopefully meeting y'all sometime.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, yeah. Appreciate your service too, man. And then, yeah, another question: have you ever done donuts in a 3G?
Donuts in a 3G? No.
No. Okay, there you go.
No, but
doable for sure.
Doing them in a parking lot when it snows and my next all-wheel drive car is done. That'll probably happen.
Oh yeah, dude. Do you remember when I was drifting that S4 around and that shit was crazy?
So now we might be in trouble.
Supercharged 5VZ. I think he's talking about the taco.
Oh.
Hell yeah! Is it? Did he go with the Magnuson kit? Now you got me curious. I've been debating it, but I just feel like I got a bike. I'm trying to buy an M4 comp. There's I got a long list, but I'm tempted. He said that's a long list of cars, bro. Yeah, that's just his next 2 weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
That will probably get me into June.
Yeah, that's true.
The Galant is what's probably gonna end up on the back burner just because it's my car. So
there you go. Yeah, fuck your projects, bro. Come work for everybody else real quick. No, they were saying some 3G all-wheel drive donuts would be insane. I agree.
I agree completely. Yeah.
You know what we got to.
Much on the bucket list.
You know what we got to do? You do that. I'll have Evan with his drone film it top down.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy, that'll be crazy. There will be some. That'll be racing some bikes this coming season, so that's gonna be crazy because we got some tuned leader bikes, and we're gonna see how that goes. I'm a skeptic, but he's feeling pretty good. So
Get dumped.
yeah. Hey man, I believe it.
On bike's gonna get beat.
Yeah, I believe it though. I'm not gonna lie. Next video with the 3G donuts, yes sir. It'd be a little hard to do that live though. I feel like holding the phone might be a little tricky for that one. But
I wouldn't be holding the phone.
no, I'm saying me even.
Oh.
Yeah, that's shit. I'll try. Oh yeah. No, yeah, we'll keep everybody updated for sure.
Oh yeah.
Coming together.
There's my 12.
Which state? We're in Minnesota, bro. Land of the nice balmy weather year round. Does the 3G still have the massive cutout for the intercooler?
I mean, not who asked that.
Hey, mind your business. It's a yes or no question.
Is Duty watching again?
No, let me see. This is Otto Zans, the guy that you didn't know, but was asking some stuff, or didn't know who he is.
I mean, it has a big cutout for the intercooler, not the big square one. If that's the one.
I think he's probably talking about the big square one.
Of course, he's talking about. No, that went away over 10 years ago, man.
Yeah, he got it dialed in. Y'all some good people. Keep up y'all's dreams. Hey man, I appreciate that. Doing what we can, man. Just, wild Wednesday night shenanigans as always.
I mean, I do this every night, but
yeah, he does this every night. I'm just the one who painted the cover for it. Oh, wait, what? The one who painted the cover for it.
what?
That's what I'm wondering. Wait, painted the cover for what? Damn, far as fuck. Where are you, bro? Big question. Okay, we got a big question coming. What's the big question?
Ask away. Who's asking?
This would be the same dude.
All right.
I got it. Yeah. Justin was mean back. I can't read. Justin was mean to me back in the day. Tell him to be nice. He is nice, bro. You just gotta.
Sorry, man.
I mean, he talked a lot of shit on Clo 3G. If you know him through Clo 3G, that shit don't count. It was the internet.
No. Yeah.
Oh no, shot.
What?
Shot. Okay, so this dude is the dude that painted the cover way back then. Wait, you talking about you did this, bro? You did the hydro dip on that? Is that what you're talking about?
Is it Schofield?
Nah, Sean Taylor.
Oh, no way. Sean didn't do that.
Fuck, bro. I think that's what he's talking about. It's the only thing I could think of that's painted as a cover that, let's see. What aftermarket axles do you guys go with?
Well, there are none.
The bumper. Got it. He painted the bumper.
Oh, yeah, Sean.
There you go.
What's up, dude?
Okay. It all comes together.
What's his username?
Well, it's blue whatever.
Oh, so I always wondered if that was actually you.
Yeah, it is. He's in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, he moved down south.
Swear to God. No, that's a different guy.
What was the other question?
Aftermarket axles.
So technically none exist. I happen to have a set. They're for sale.
Oh, what's the ticket? What's the ticket?
$1,200.
$1,200.
So the DSS Stage 3s with hubs.
Oh, those are nice. Okay. Yeah. It's not the off the show shit.
No. So
Welcome back.
um,
Oh, who's the cameraman? Don't worry about these things. Don't worry, Mr. FBI agent. I don't know who's that. O2 Mitsu. Let me see. Hold on.
Oh!
Which man?
Dang.
Oh, what's up, bro? Yeah, you know exactly who this is. Yes, sir.
Oh man.
What's up, man? Come on, you already know.
He announced himself. He's not just.
He was lurking until he heard the voice. Back up in Wisconsin. So Sean Taylor back in Wisconsin. He said he's gonna have to come see y'all for sure.
Everybody gonna have to come.
Yeah,
out.
pull up. No, definitely get some barbecues going or something. Question.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Question for you.
Sure.
So 3G, 3.0 V6, big antifreeze leak going through my thermostat. Pipe. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, it's a typo. He replaced the pipe through the engine to the water pump. I still have a big leak.
All I can think of is maybe the O-rings.
What's the Club 3G handle, cameraman? Man, I think it was what, G Von Drag or just Von Drag, right?
Yeah. No, it was Von Drag.
No,
it was Von Drag.
I swear it's G Von Drag. Swear to God, because Von Drag was taking some other shit.
G came later.
No doubt. Okay, yeah, Von
I
Drag.
think so. Yeah, it was just Von Drag.
Oh, he said housing pipe. Yep. 100 grandkid says hi Zulfab. Let's see. That's
Zulfab.
Yeah. That's some old
Who's
school.
that? I meant who's Zulfab. It was a joke.
Oh, my fault.
So I think that we are missing coolant housing gaskets.
Ruh-roh. All right. So okay. So the question though on the so he did the housing pipe and still has a huge leak for the antifreeze. What do you think?
Just depends on where it's coming from, man. Those O-rings.
O-rings
on either ends of the pipe.
Got it.
You got to lube the crap out of them, and it's possible that your back housing for the water pump is just so old and corroded that it can't seal anymore. That could also be it.
Got it. New water pump.
Yeah, most water pump and kits only come with the front half, not the whole thing.
Got it. So you would need the back housing. Okay.
Yeah, so you just get the water pump kit that does come with all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm bummed. No, we
If
don't.
of course it is leaking out of that end.
Where are them gaskets?
Okay, so he did new seals all over, but never changed the water pump. So yeah, change that in the gaskets. Sounds like
It could be that housing.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yep.
The only other thing that I could think of is the crossover pipes. So a mistake that some people will make. So the 3.0 water housing is similar to this one. This is a 3.5. But these are your two lines that go to the firewall. This one is positively retained on the housing. This one is not. So if you, for whatever reason, took this off and did not bolt both of them to the heads.
Oh, that one's not going to be... Got it.
This bottom one is not retained, and it will pop out, but it will only pop out far enough to leak really bad.
But not like totally
But not
piss
just
everywhere.
Totally hemorrhage.
Oh, okay, got
so
it.
that could be it. Unlikely, but that's a mistake that I've seen more than once.
Yep.
Got
I actually had that happen on this motor back in 2010, 2011.
Yep.
Early on, didn't put that bolt in. Started having a coolant leak, couldn't figure out where it was, and sure enough, that was that.
Makes sense.
So, no. You never know. You live and you learn.
So we got two more questions. Let's see. Oh yeah, some other people have had that same mistake. Sounds like. So we got two more questions. We got what's the quarter-mile goal for your all-wheel drive craziness?
What time frame?
What time frame? What do you mean? Oh, like how? Okay. What's your current goal you're chasing?
The goal this year is to, I would say at first, make a full power pass.
Full power pass.
Whatever that happens to be.
Okay.
25 pounds. I got a few things to figure out before I get there.
Got it.
But if I get that stuff figured out, go make a full power pass, I'm not going to be disappointed with whatever it does.
Okay.
I have enough data on the car now to know that it's going to go fast if I can get a full pass out of it.
Okay.
If I were to set a time that I want to beat 850.
850.
Faster than 850.
Faster than 850, but he thinks he should be there as long as he can get the full power pass. Okay. And then what's your opinion on the 6G72 intake manifold? His is a 2002 GT.
The GT manifold, I think, is brutally misunderstood.
Okay. You should definitely, I don't know how much that voice carries. You might need to.
I know. I'm looking for a gasket because Joey did not send me.
Joey, you slipping.
Why didn't you send me water housing gaskets?
Yeah, that part. But so it's a misunderstood intake manifold, you're saying?
Well, so what you'll notice about that manifold is every runner is a different length.
Nice.
And what Mitsubishi was doing is trying to create average horsepower. Air, flat torque curve, air under the hood, under the curve. So each runner is a different length, longer to shorter, and the longer runners work better at low RPM, the shorter runners work better at high RPM.
Oh, Jesus.
On the GT motors, Mitsubishi also, and I haven't verified this, but they allegedly split the cam center line so that one bank works better down low, one bank works better up top. And so they created this engine that, with very old school technology, like did everything okay.
Okay.
But
nothing didn't excel.
But nothing great.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously.
Moderation.
I think that it works better than people think
Okay.
that it should work.
Fair enough.
The common swap, people go to the Diamante intake manifold and it's a downgrade.
Okay.
And it's a downgrade because it's got really small runners because it's designed to make torque. They're long, and then it's a Diamante. The casting quality is absolute garbage. And so if you put a stock Diamante intake manifold on your stock 3-liter, you're going to lose horsepower. If you port that manifold and you clean everything up, then the fluid dynamics can do what they want to do. Then it's an upgrade.
Comes down to the port work.
It all comes down to the manifold's ability to do what it was designed to do. The only thing about the 3.5 manifold is it's still a torque manifold either way. Doesn't work great up top. And hot top end horsepower is where you're going to actually make these things go faster. So that's sort of the game.
There you go. So, nice. Makes sense. Clarence asked if he's invited to the next the 3G meet.
So there's going to be a lot of cars put together this spring. A lot of cool 6G7 setups coming out. And whether it's for the All-Mitsu Cookout or something else, I would like to put a meet together.
Yeah.
And I know at least 10 of us between Minnesota and Wisconsin will show up with heavily modified 3Gs. And it would be an open invite for anybody who wants to come up and sort of storm the cookout, if you will, and just
have a good time.
I don't know, have a good time.
Get into some shenanigans.
Make the platform's final stand.
There you go.
Whatever it happens to be. So
short answer, yeah, everybody's invited who wants to.
Yeah, everybody.
They were like, "Yo, you got to stop this man from getting distracted trying to find those gaskets."
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find them. I think I pitched the ones that came off that motor. I have one spare too, which is so annoying.
Shoot.
Ah.
Yeah, and I don't have any spares at my place either.
Dang it, Joey Miller.
Joey fucking up. Damn, full government name.
He
terrible.
What happened?
I said you just hit him with the full government name.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows Joey.
That's the guy. I don't know Joey.
More people know Joey than know me.
Really?
He's that status guy, man.
Oh, your sister. Hey, yo, I think your sister joined too.
No.
Yeah, Sarah, right? Yeah.
Sarah?
Yes.
What's she doing watching a live stream of me?
Keeping you in check, probably.
She's probably interested to see what kind of...
What shenanigans are unfolding over here?
What kind of vibe we got going tonight?
It's a good vibe, productive vibe.
Why aren't these starting?
Oh, dang. Okay. It sounds like, okay.
Yeah, that's weird. They won't start.
She says, hi! Exclamation point. Oh, man. Somebody going on deployment, so they're putting their car in storage now. Well, I respect that, man. Appreciate that.
How's that even possible? I genuinely don't know how that's possible. Considering this is what it came off of.
Right.
The pins are still good. Oh, it's the spider bracket itself. We're going to make an adjustment.
Oh, okay. 14. You got one.
Yeah, I'll do a bigger one.
So Joe Womack says he's been basically lagging because he's been moving too much on some military shit, sound like.
Oh, sure.
So, no, hey, I respect that, man. It's like, a decent excuse for sure. It's tough to make headway on projects when you got to pack everything up.
just didn't quite line up like it needed to. Weird. I've never seen that before. Add it to the list. One of these is way longer than I think it's that one. Yep. Where's that impact?
Got you, dog. There you go.
Appreciate it.
No doubt. My bad. It's a terrible way to hand that to you. Oh. I found it. So
Good enough. Where's that ratchet? There it is. Good.
Trying to remember if that timing tension
All right.
was actually, if the timing tension was actually pulled down.
story time. Oh,
Hit
shit.
it once. Where's the 12?
I think it is, but
Best headers for a 6G72 single overhead cam.
Boy, that is a great question. Let me say one thing about this first.
Yeah.
A lot of people screw up the crank sensor routing. I've seen it run behind the belt. I've seen it run out. I've seen it chewed up by belts. People just don't remember what to do with this when they put this back together. This cord comes out right along the aluminum engine mount, and it's designed to go into this crotch.
Got it.
That way, it
Okay.
stays out of all the pulleys.
Makes sense.
That's what we're going for here.
Huh. Fair enough.
So best headers.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, nothing exists really that's off the shelf. RPW, I believe, offers them for the 3-liter because they have the 3-liter Magna. So here's your other deal. You gotta put your wire tab. So it comes out here, and the wire tab goes up, goes under that bolt.
that'll keep it out of your serpentine
And that keeps
belt.
it out of your serpentine belt. Yep, precisely.
Got it. RPW.
So RPWs, I mean, they're still not great headers. And I'm gonna make a post about that soon. But the one thing about the RPWs is they are approximately equal length. They have small secondaries, which is good. So they're also relatively symmetric and, like I said, equal length. So they sound good. That's the biggest thing. The RPWs, they're probably the best quote unquote header that you can get. But they're made of mild steel. So in the US here, pretty much anywhere you're at least in our neck of the woods, they just don't live a long life. So if it's a summer car only, not a problem. But if it's a daily and you're putting those on there, they're not going to last too terribly long. And that goes for the knockoff long tubes that come out of Australia. Everything they make over there is mild steel. So if you're lucky, you can find a set of OBXs. Those can sound nice, but you have to build a new downpipe for them. So they're a ton of work. And then if you want off-the-shelf stainless stuff, the easiest thing is probably to get a set of RREs for the 4G and then make a custom downpipe for those.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, there's no
Not off the shelf.
easy
It's all.
solution.
Yeah.
It's all going to be a lot of work and a lot of money. But to that end, it's nice if you can do one of the nicer sets because the eBay ones, they just sound so bad.
Fair.
Oh, you don't have those RPWs here anymore, do you?
No.
I was going to grab one shorty of them. The OBX.
You can show them OBXs.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So 6G74 fuel rail. Do you use the yellow fuel injector or the stock injectors for the non MIVEC swap?
When doing a 6G75 swap, I will use the pinks.
Okay.
At least on the cars that I've done, they've needed them.
Okay.
So the 3.0 injectors, if you do like ported heads and everything with a 3.0, you're going to max out the injectors. They're pretty small. 3.5s will get you a little bit further, but with either of the 3.8s, like base non MIVEC swaps that we've done have all ended up right around 250 wheel horsepower.
Got it.
And that's like just barely, the 3.5s just, you shouldn't use them, they're too small. So if you're going to do a 3.8, use the pinks, get them cleaned, and live your life.
There you go. All right, Ido Zan's the guy that you were unsure of who he is. Wondering if you can see the motor in your all-wheel drive.
Sure.
All right, we're gonna play a little gamble here with the battery, but we'll get you a little action here. Yeah, buddy. Jesus Christ, every time.
So obviously the intake manifold and battery are pulled out of it right now. I pulled the fuel system out of it, got the injectors cleaned, but I'm putting a dry sump in it. And so the dry sump pump is going to go where the old fuel pump went. The fuel pump is out getting rebuilt right now. That's going to actually go on the back of the dry sump pump. But as a result, I have to mount a 20-inch tall dry sump tank in here. So I got to move my fuel cell. So the pump is supposed to be built Friday. It's finally getting built this Friday.
Nice.
Once I have that and the fuel pump back, I can actually build the oil pan and do all that stuff. And then I got to rip all this out, put the new oil pan on it, put it all back in, mount my bottle, mount my surge tank, and then replumb everything, and then I'll be able to get this thing out again.
Nice.
I have a couple other issues that I need to deal with once it's back on the road, namely my idle air control issue and my speed sensor issue, both of which I need Haul Tech to actually remote into the car because stuff isn't working the way it's supposed to. But the car needs to move in order for me to do that. So
put this together first.
Didn't get those solutions last fall because I parked the car.
Got it.
So once the dry sump and the fuel system are done, the car will come back out as it was at the end of last year. Once I get speed and idle figured out, I got to put CO2 boost control in it, lockout, strain gauge shifter, crank it up to 30 pounds, and go run whatever it runs.
Fair enough. So a couple questions. Tire setup on that, and also did you have to cut the frame to do the all-wheel drive?
So what was the first question?
Tire setup.
So I have a set of what are those dang things called? The MT55R drag radials on all four corners. They're 245.
The R2s.
They're the R2s. So the newer MT555Rs, 245, 45, 17.
Okay. And then cut the frame for the all-wheel drive. I mean, that car's seen some shit, so I don't even know at this point.
So my car is a tube chassis car, so it's been cut up quite a bit.
Is it a requirement?
Is it a requirement for all-wheel drive? Yes.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, here's where we get into the nuances of it all. So, you have a V6 and you're going to try to make horsepower and go fast. You need a domestic transfer case. Evo 8, Evo 9, preferably non-ACD. If you want to make ACD work, that's on you. But the earlier transfer cases, the 4, 5, and 6 transfer cases have an under subframe setup that you can bolt into a 3G, but those transfer cases fail pretty quickly, upwards of 300 horsepower at the wheels, and it's because there's a neck down point in the output pinion. It necks down to 17 millimeters, and that's on the TME edition Evo 6s, which have a beefier transfer case. The other Evos, it necks down to 15 millimeters, and so once you start launching 300 plus horsepower, they just crack the pinion off. So if you're going to do a V6, you need to use the domestic transfer case. This goes over subframe. So you're in it for lowering the steering rack. You got to cut up the subframe. You got to cut most of the tunnel out and raise it up so that you have space for the drive shaft. You got to make some clearance in the back for the 2G rear subframe, drop bolts in, cut holes in the frame, in the unibody to drop the bolts in, and then you got to re-aim the diff and work with all your geometry. Like there's no bolt-on one-size-fits-all solution for it. It's a huge amount of work. And then if you do it the way that they say to do it on Club 3G, where you use like the third piece of a 2G drive shaft, you're going to end up with just the tiniest little bit of vibration that you can't actually get to go away unless you just completely cut the car end to end down the middle to make space for the drive shaft. So the best thing that you can do is get a 2-piece carbon shaft, put that hanger right in the middle, and make whatever clearance you need to make that thing straight. And that's what I have in my car right now. And even though it's got all steel in the suspension and whatnot, it doesn't vibrate at all. So
Damn.
that's how I would do it.
There you go.
More questions?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be some more questions after that, for sure.
We should do this more often.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, somebody way back said you're like the walking wiki for this platform. It's like, swear to God. Yeah.
Ask me anything.
Yeah, somebody said, he was saying, let's see, that he heard it took you about 5 years for that 3G, and that's great work. Yeah, no, man, that car has seen iterations, bro. I've known this dude for over a decade, and like, yeah, that car has gone through some processes, man. There's been many iterations of this vehicle.
5 years was since I tore the car down January 2018 for the latest build.
I was gonna say, yep.
So it was.
I remember we were sitting at Applebee's and you were trying to tell me you were gonna park the car out, and I was just like, man, shut up. We both know you're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
The good old days. All-wheel drive is money. Is basically what he heard.
All-wheel drive. Yeah. If you don't have just 15 grand laying around on top of whatever engine setup you want to build,
Don't do it.
don't even waste your time.
Copy that.
The gear ratios in the Evo stuff are ridiculously short.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think that you're going to all-wheel drive convert your car with a stock Evo transmission and you're going to prove anything with it, have fun shifting into fifth at 100 miles an hour.
Them.
So the V6s, which just don't have the same rev ability as the 4Gs, you need the tallest gears that you can possibly get. So you're looking at at least a basic rebuild, which you're going to look at anyway because there are no good Evo transmissions left. But that with a final drive update is going to be that's just a bare minimum, and then $2,000 transfer case core plus a $3,000 build. If you do get the Evo rear diff, which you should because it's an LSD, those have a really weak cast iron side cover in the clutch basket, and with V6 horsepower, you will wreck that. So
Money.
take that from me.
Them.
Don't wreck that rear diff.
Been there.
It's expensive. So yeah.
He said, "Yep, fuck that. Keep it front wheel drive."
You're gonna be about $4,000 into
Swear
that.
to God, yeah.
A 2-piece carbon drive shaft is like $3,500.
Honestly, I just went and bought an all-wheel drive car, completely different. Yeah.
That's with a who knows what wait time you got, plus just getting lucky enough to hear back from them in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, somebody else was saying they thought they were gonna part out a car too, but thought better of it. I think that was Joe.
Sure.
Womack. And then let's see. Are you ever thinking about getting into the 4-cylinder stuff?
I've got so many projects that I don't.
Not looking for extra shit to do.
I mean,
Fair.
If someone came to me very honestly, here's the thing: if you come to me very honestly with a question or a request for work and you're actually serious about it, obviously I have cars in here because there are people who want the work done. So I have no problem working on the 4-cylinder. It's not.
It's just not your
It's just not my deal. The 4-cylinders just vibrate like crazy. Like just do when you put urethane mounts in or solid mounts in these cars, it's like someone's running a jackhammer against the frame rail. So that's just a huge turnoff for me because you can put straight up steel mounts all the way around in the V6 and you get a little bit of gear whine from the transmission, but that's the only sacrifice. So that and the fact that you can make 1,000 horsepower with the V6 and have perfect daily drivability, like stock turnkey, good street manners, quiet, fuel efficient, and all that. Can't do that with a 4-cylinder. So
yeah, it gets a little rowdy.
They're noisy. They're crap to drive at the end of the day.
So probably no.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it just depends. If you're actually serious about it.
I think they were asking more so if you were going to push the R&D on it, but.
I mean, like I said, if I were going to do one, I would just port the head really good. Probably get a cold weld cam, cut and weld, Outlander manifold, nice twin scroll turbo kit with an all-wheel drive train behind it. If you built the 2.4 bottom end, that would be you want to talk about a rowdy setup. You know, the whole nice thing about the V6 is we can spool a 76 millimeter turbo like that. The 4 cylinders can't do that because they're inherently smaller and have fewer cylinders. But if you did a 2.4 and then 64, 66, FP Black, like any of those 600, 650 horsepower range turbos hit super hard, and that would just be an absolute blast to drive on the street. And you can still build those 2.4s to rev to 8 pretty reliably with steel internals, steel rods. So that would be the street combo. You would just, obviously you'd have a lot of vibration in the cab because you're probably going to end up deleting the balance shafts on that, running a lighter weight clutch, and it just makes everything that much noisier.
Fair enough.
So
next up, Haltech versus Motec versus AEM for standalone.
Who's asking that?
That is Clarence again.
Okay, so Motec is the highest end standalone you can really get, just about as far as like mainstream standalones go. You're talking 15 grand for an entry level setup, like just straight up. The Motecs can do anything though, which is great. So that's why they end up in your 2,000 horsepower GTRs, Lambos, Vipers, all the Nth Moto stuff. All that stuff is Motec, and that's why. It's the highest level. No, you know, just it's the best of everything. Haltech is awesome for a lot of reasons. They have some drawbacks too, but Haltech would be my next choice, obviously. Fuel Tech is getting really good now too, but
yeah, somebody said Fuel Tech, yeah.
Yeah, Fuel Tech's gotten really popular. There's a lot of really fast cars running that, and actually there are some people who've swapped off the Haltech for the Fuel Tech because they offer some features and some better I/O. I think just from a market standpoint, Haltech might have been just a little late to the game with the R5. And there's a lot of potential reasons for that. Not just they're still really competitive, but I think that they kind of like Precision did with the next gen. Like they're awesome turbos, but if you go to World Cup, everybody's running Apex turbos at this point. So a lot of their flagship sponsors like Red Demon don't even run Precision anymore. So that's sort of how Haltech is to Fuel Tech, I think, at this point. AEM, however, I would never even...
Yeah, somebody said AEM slowly dying.
I would never even begin to consider an AEM. They have the lowest, we'll call it the lowest quality, lowest capacity hardware of any of the engine management groups out there. And just from the people in circles that I run in, they have a lot more hardware problems. So
just QC or something.
If you're going to look at an AEM, you're looking at Infinity or newer. The old V1s aren't even worth talking about. V2s are like the shittiest standalone ever.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have powerful feelings about this, but the AEM V2 is not even a computation-based system. So in the AEM V2, you have your load tables and your RPM tables, or your load by RPM tables for tuning fuel, for instance. So you'll have a map sensor reading and you'll have an RPM. You'll find your data point. It literally pulls injector pulse width out of a table. It doesn't actually calculate the amount of air going into your engine. It just pulls a pulse width out. It's a reference system. And then you have a bunch of sensors and stuff that you can trim those references with. And so AEMs really just only work when they're tuned. And then once you start changing anything, if you change anything about the car, the weather conditions, all of this stuff, the whole tune goes out the window.
Jesus.
And so there's a reason that people sell them for $500 and why they're sitting in every other 3000 GT owner's locker. So I would never even
do it.
AEM.
Could never be you. All right.
But Haltech is tough because in order to run a V6, you're looking at 2500 Elite. And by the time you set that up, you're definitely looking at like $3-4 grand.
Yeah, so that dovetails into a question earlier. If you had to ballpark it, I know I've actually asked you this before. What do you think on this revision of your car? You're into it, total cost.
Oh, I could tell you down to the penny.
Yeah.
So I could tell you down to the penny. If I went and pulled up my spreadsheet, I've tracked every single cent I've spent, both on car parts and
The projected labor cost.
tools.
Oh, okay, got it.
So it's all actual cash out the door. The only thing that I haven't kept track of is how much money I spent on gas, which is plenty of driving around for all this stuff.
So what's the ticket for this revision?
This particular revision, including all the mistakes, like
Yeah.
you know, the 6.0 and the 8.8 front diffs and the Audi Quattro stuff and all that stuff, we are right about six figures.
Jesus.
So
About 100K. All right.
by the time I have the dry sump done, the strain gauge and all that fun stuff, and I'll have six figures into just parts.
Okay.
Not including the 15 I have into the shop.
Right. And all the labor, if you had to do, you know, if somebody else was doing it.
The
No, the labor's insane.
labor
Yeah.
would not even. That would.
Yeah,
that
it's a
would
house.
in a hurry.
Let's see what else we got here. Can you set boost by gear on a stock ECU for a 3G?
Not through the ECU, no.
Not through the ECU.
The
Okay.
ECU on the 3G offers no boost control capabilities whatsoever.
Mm.
So what I always did, what we set up on all our boosted cars here, is a Turbo Smart eBoost 2.
Okay.
So the eBoost 2 allows you to program 4 boost groups.
Okay.
And you can cycle through these groups via a switch.
Okay.
So you can either set it up, there's a million different ways you can set it up, whether it's to the clutch, the shifter.
Mm.
We always just put them on switches on the steering column, because usually you'd end up using 2 boost levels.
Sure.
But with the all-wheel drive stuff, we just let them go. You know, run full boost in first gear isn't the problem with those. But if you're going to do something front-wheel drive,
Right, don't want to blow the tires off. Yeah.
an eBoost 2 with your choice of switch setup.
Okay. Let's see. Joe was saying he's going to make the switch off AEM to Haltech someday.
Good. Well, let me know, brother.
Yeah.
I can help you up with the configuration on that.
There you go. Question from Clarence is, would you put a AEM below even a Mega Squirt MS3 Evo?
Man, you know just how to turn my gears. Oh, fuck. So, I would put AEM V2 isn't even a consideration. Just not even.
He says he's not even. It's not even a real product. Terrible.
In the V2, you can't even Yeah, I'm just not even gonna go there.
Fair.
What was the question?
Let's see. It was the Mega Squirt MS3 Evo. Yeah.
I usually call the Mega Squirt the.
Easy killer.
I ain't even gonna go there. The Camaro is tuned on Mega Squirt, actually.
Okay.
The Mega Squirt is very much what I would consider like a casual DIY or standalone. So, massive amount of flexibility. Not necessarily a high performance standalone. But for someone who's just doing this to have fun, you know, if they're not trying to go racing necessarily, Mega Squirt works.
It works.
Let's put it this way. Mega Squirt is a calculation-based system.
Okay.
So it actually calculates how much airflow is going into the engine. And that just makes everything infinitely more robust and better and all those things. I know that it supports a ton of racing features. So stuff that I don't think the AEM supports. So I guess to answer your question, I would put the AEM below Mega Squirt, yeah.
Apparently,
and for what it's worth, I have tuned a car with an AEM on it, so this is not me just blowing smoke.
There you go.
V2 and Infinity, so
Jesus.
before anybody gets their Jimmy's rustling.
All right, been around the block. Speaking from experience.
Me blowing smoke.
There's a Russian guy apparently that's doing some interesting stuff for the stock ECU.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know.
There's a lot of people all over this.
Yeah, I'll say there's a lot of people doing a lot of
stock ECUs.
Yes, sir. And of course, it's some Russian guy.
They some of these cars are really big in Russia.
Huh.
The Galant is huge.
Yeah, they love customizing those over there.
Interesting. What ballpark cost for that switch setup for boost by gear?
Ballpark. So the Turbo Smart is like 600.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. So that's for the gauge setup. And then you just got to get your own switches. So go to the hardware store and rig something up. You know, we always, like I said, we always used to put them right in the steering column behind the steering wheel, so you could just reach up and choose your boost group.
Yeah, all you're doing is triggering a signal to ground.
Okay.
Yeah, So the boost controller doesn't know what gear you're in.
Right.
You know.
You're like manually.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you could set it up so that each switch represented a boost group, and then you could put a position switch in. But that's going to be real challenging.
There's also logic to have it sequentially go up or down or reset or
Okay.
You can build it out
name
pretty
it.
much however you want.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 wires worth of logic on the
Oh, so it's pretty
on the
modular.
eBoost 2.
Okay.
Otherwise, we've run the True Boost in the past before the eBoost 2,
Okay.
and that gave us 2 boost groups as well. One primary and scramble boost.
Nice.
Yeah, the problem with the e-boost or the AEM is it's just a flat duty cycle.
Yeah.
So the other deal is with the Turbo Smart eBoost 2, you can set up every boost group. So even if you have 4 boost groups set up, you can set them up by RPM. So for these cars, again, too much torque. Like when I ran my 10.2, it did not reach max duty cycle until 7,000 RPM. It was a completely linear deal because it lit that 69 so fast that it made enough torque to blow through a 3,600 pound pressure plate. So
Jesus.
it just, nothing behind it stood a chance. What am I even looking for? Oh, yeah.
So,
Where did I put that 14? Did I give that? Oh, there it is.
Up here, I got the dog bone here.
All right, these are OBXs. I don't know if Matt showed these earlier,
no, he didn't.
but what's nice about OBXs is that the head flanges actually line up. Your eBay headers don't. In fact, even your RPWs aren't perfect alignment, whereas your OBXs, those are perfect alignment, baby. That's why I love these headers. On top of that, while they're not equal length, they're close. They're close, unlike the eBay headers, which are just grotesquely off. And so if you run these headers and you build a Y-pipe where you actually run a loop in back and try to bring them up to a similar length, they end up sounding pretty good. And I have sound clip number 6 in a post I made a while ago about exhaust notes is these headers on this motor in the 3G that they were in for a few years. So you can hear what they sound like. And just keeping it real, it's my favorite exhaust note that I have ever heard.
There you go.
This thing will always have a place in my soul for the many songs we've played.
I feel that. Favorite fuel injector brand?
Fick.
Okay.
So I've tuned a whole load of the 1650. The biggest thing is you need to get high impedance. Absolutely need to get high impedance.
That is a must.
That is absolute 100% must.
Non-negotiable. All right.
But yeah, I've tuned a bunch of sets of the 1650s. Matt's car runs them, and it cold starts in 20-degree weather on the first try.
Yep, with the 85.
So that's with the 85.
No problem.
So they work really, really good. I have the 2150s in mine. Wishar, a little big for the stock ECU. I had some issues controlling them when I had the stock ECU. The Haltech doesn't have any issues at all with it. The car idles fine from an injector standpoint. But yeah, fix 1650s, very tunable on the stock ECU. Would recommend getting them for any ethanol build, just so that you have infinite headroom. If you're going to do a 3.8 and you want to get aftermarket injectors for that, the 650s are really nice. So we're putting those 650s in the new 4-liter that we're putting together. So yeah,
There you go.
what else? I could do this all day.
I was gonna say on a roll for sure. Nice. He said then he bought the right injectors. There you go.
Good. Who was that?
I think that's Clarence again. Yeah. Yep. Clarence Jones.
Good stuff.
Do you tune anything other than 3Gs and standalones?
So I dabbled in HB tuners a little bit back when I had my Corvette. I can tune anything to the extent that I understand tuning. So the interfaces that I'm familiar with are ECU, Flash, Haltech, and AEM.
Okay.
But given, I could figure it out,
No, for sure. Just learning the interface. What brand would you recommend for high compression pistons on a 6G75 looking for 12 to 5?
JE.
JE. Okay.
JE is who I've always used. They have been the most reliable to work with. The shop that I generally get my machine work done at has a good relationship with JE. And so what I've done for all the motors that I've built is I send them a stock piston.
Mm.
And I know all the other variables, so chamber, compressed head gasket thickness and all that good stuff. So I can tell them how much dome, because that's ultimately what they can, move the ring pack if you're going to boost it, or move it up if you're going to go NA. Like, they can tailor all that stuff just based on what you tell them, but they don't know how much volume to add on the top of the piston. So I send them a stock one. That way they have the valve pattern. So like on the MIVEC pistons actually have valve reliefs. They can actually 3D model that and keep those reliefs so they're in the right spot. And then you just tell them, I want this piston with these valve reliefs, but I need it grown out X number of millimeters. And then I need this dome volume. And so like the pistons that we just ordered for Ben's new 4-liter, we took a stock piston, we modeled it, and actually got the 11.3 to 1 piston that is in the high compression MIVEC car, my second car. We took that piston then and took the chamber volume and all that stuff and got an exact volume on it. We're like, how far do we feel like pushing pump 93? And we decided to go with 11.7 to 1. So they're 97 millimeter, 11.7 to 1. They'll come from JE, standard floating pin, ring pack moved up for high compression, naturally aspirated stuff. And then the biggest thing is when you get those pistons back, don't have them coated at JE. That's the one thing. Don't get them coated at JE. Get them back, send them out, and have Calico do it. So they've been good. I've had a number of pistons done by them. They turn them around in like 2 days. So really great. The coating won't rub off like it does on the piston manufacturer coating. So
Duly noted.
that'd be my recommendation for that.
There you go. And then somebody else asked about OBX headers holding up to turbo key, but somebody else said, yeah, they should hold up.
Oh, they've been great.
Oh, they've been awesome. Yeah, we've made a couple different turbo kits off OBX headers. I'm actually gonna, the 3.8 car that I'm getting at the end of this month, or next month, whenever I get to it, that one has a turbo kit on it that was built off OBXs. Alex Brodsky's old kits were all built off OBXs. So they're a great starting point. They empty into 2 1/8 inch secondaries, so they're almost perfect. 2 inch would be perfect. And that's why this 3.8 car that's coming in for a turbo kit, I'm going to put those RPWs on, because they have a 2 inch secondary, which will be perfect for, a budget exhaust manifold option.
Sure.
So there are some restrictions with using headers, because obviously the outlets are on the bottom, so your Y pipe design gets a little wonky trying to get them both up to a turbo. But they're a much better starting point than like a set of Cali spec manifolds like all the old garbage Tearstone kits and whatnot came with. So
Opinion on Ross pistons.
I mean, I'm putting Ross pistons in my 3-liter that I'm building, that I'm hoping to make 1,000 with.
Okay.
They come with really wimpy wrist pins, kind of wimpy ring packs too, to be honest. But that's all the experience I really have with them. It was I managed to snag those set of pistons in a deal, brand new in box. They're like 20 years old.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I decided to run those. But given the choice, I'd run JE.
Okay.
If you're running a 4G, the Wiseco HDs can't really be argued with, but we're not building 4 cylinders yet, are we?
Not yet.
This is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been cool.
Yeah, we're probably almost. We still got. Yeah, we're doing all right on the battery. Losing ground a little bit, but not crazy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright. Almost got these done.
Yeah.
What else you got?
All right. Any other
Ask me a
questions?
hard one.
You're right. This guy. Torqued to spec. Damn.
Good and tight. That's one 3/4 bicep curl.
Right. 4 ugga-uggas.
That is one crease of your palm.
Right.
One thing I will say about header hardware and whatnot, always use the factory nuts and washers. That is because they're made of copper. And the copper, when the studs and head get hot, actually grab the studs so they don't come loose. If you turbo one of these cars and you switch those out for steel, they will just perpetually come loose on you.
Jesus.
Use the stock nuts, stock washers, and enjoy not having to worry about it.
There you go. Somebody said if it starts to loosen again, you went too far. Swear to God.
What are y'all getting at?
Hey man, I'm definitely relatable. What's the number one issue you have seen with a Turbo 6G setup?
Shitty ass turbo kits.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, we did 550, 560 in a 100-degree dyno room on Matt's stock 3.5, stock bottom end 3.5. And that was on drag radials and 19 pounds boost. And that was not even that great of a turbo kit. Like if that was an OBX based kit, but it was a T3 kit, if I built the kit that is going on that 3.8 car next month, T4 twin scroll based off a set of headers, 650 on a stock bottom end 3.5. 3.0 is going to be just as strong, except for the main line. So it's got 2-bolt 12mm mains instead of 4-bolt 11mm mains like the bigger motors do. So at some point you're going to run into an issue where you're going to stretch that main line. However, that limit is somewhere probably in the same 6 to 650 horsepower range as the 3.5, because the 3.0 is going to make less torque, and it's only got a 3-inch stroke, so it just can spin effortlessly forever. So as long as you have a good turbo kit and a good tune, any of this, I mean, the 3.0, either 3.0 or the 3.5 is going to be a good bet.
Okay.
6G75s, however, if you boost them, they will blow up.
Sure.
Might not be today, might not be tomorrow.
Eventually.
But it will happen someday. Doesn't matter. Nitrous, supercharger, turbocharger, they all blow up. It's just what they do.
There you go.
They have hypereutectic pistons, and if those don't get you, the connecting rods are really thin, and they actually fatigue crack.
Jesus.
Literally, you'll be just, you can be, it happened to Alex, you can be just rolling down the road at 60 miles an hour and your engine will window because one of the rods fatigue cracked through.
Jesus.
So.
Next 2 questions. What's your opinion on head lift fix?
Not necessary.
Not necessary. Okay. And then
So head lift fix.
There you go.
The whole thing with lifting heads is because 3000 GT guys love to just not really tune their cars.
Okay.
So they end up with stock timing curves, and they try to push 600-700 horsepower through a set of like TD04s, TD05s, TD06s. And often they're hybrid turbos that have bigger compressor wheels stuck on these tiny little turbines. What that means is really high back pressure, really high EGTs, and then they run these on like AFCs and like combinations of GM MAF translators with a little chrome ECU magic in there. And they end up running too much timing. They knock and they push the cylinder head out between the valves.
Okay.
So on my last setup, my last 3.6, I ran 30 pounds of boost. I was blowing through a 3,600 pound pressure plate, never pushed a drop of coolant. My current motor, the dual overhead cam motor that's in my car, 25 pounds of boost on that setup is a little over 1,000 at the wheels. No head lift fix.
Okay.
Doesn't need it.
Just tune it, basically.
It's about having a good turbo kit and having a good tune-up.
Okay. And then Ben asked, what about the smaller thrust washer on the 3.0?
I've never seen it be a problem.
Okay.
So the V6 stuff still makes the Evo stuff look, like the 3-liter stuff still makes the Evo stuff look small.
Interesting.
If that is a frame of reference for you.
Yeah.
So the bearings are smaller on the Evo, the thrust washers are smaller on the Evo, and they beat the ever-loving crap out of those bottom ends and don't have any issues. I would never expect to have them with a 3-liter.
Okay. Bet.
So
Okay. Damn. There you go.
almost, I mean, we're pretty much done here. Unless I want to grab that intake manifold, which I don't think is practical at this point because
because it needs a wire harness. And
I just want to prime it before I put plugs in it. There's no reason to put an intake manifold on it if we're not primed.
right.
So yeah, we've got ourselves, I need a couple of coolant manifold gaskets, and we'll put the thermostat housing on. We're going to pull this off the stand, stick it on that transmission, and I'll probably just hit the starter with a battery and prime it while it's on the chains. That way we can put plugs on it, just put it all together, wrap it up and put it in a corner. So then this will wait for a month or so here until I get the Celica done. And then this will go into that Dodge Stratus. So hopefully mid-late April, that thing is making some steam. Hopefully a bunch of other cars are too.
There you go. Go-to turbo for the 3.0.
S369 SXE.
Okay.
And if you're only trying to make 400, 500, if you're really good about your turbo kit, you could run an S364 with the 68 millimeter turbine. So you'd get the small turbine. That and a twin scroll setup, it's going to spool so fast. You can't even believe it until you experience it.
Damn.
So, but those are the two options. The 69 is literally perfect for a 3-liter. I ran it on the 3.6. It was a little bit small. We run the S372 on the 3.6 now. Matt's 3.6, the single overhead cam one. Once you get up to the 6G75, honestly, if you're going to boost one of these things, I wouldn't swap it. I wouldn't use the 6G75. They're just too big. The Non MIVEC, you could put a 76 millimeter on that thing and twin scroll and it's going to spool it like a kazoo. They're just so huge. And the MIVEC, it's the same story. They just make so much torque because they're so big that the car isn't drivable. Now, if you're going to do all-wheel drive, then it's a different story.
64, 67?
I mean, the Borg would be a 64, 68 for the 3-liter.
Must have been a typo.
But yeah, so it's technically 64.5 millimeters, but they just call it the S364 SXE. And it comes with both turbines. You can get the 73 or the 68. If you're boosting a 3-liter, you can get the 68.
Okay.
And you'll be just fine. But in reality, I'd just get a 369, build a good twin scroll kit, and enjoy making 500 horsepower on 15 pounds of boost. Just makes everything easier.
Right. There you go.
Cool. Any last questions?
Yeah, any last questions, folks? We got this slapped together, and we're almost out of battery, I think, as well. But we'll have to do this again.
Yeah, I think so. This was fun.
All right.
Might have to make this a regular thing.
Yeah.
Or Thursdays, I think, will probably be more practical. But
yeah, generally speaking, but nice.
We're doing Wednesdays nights, so
there you go.
Cool.
All right.
Well, y'all know where to find me.
There you go.
I answer PMs all day, so hit me up there. Otherwise, thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
All right.
See you.
See you guys.